What's up guys, DIY Salvage Guy here, and on this channel, we just learn as we go. So we did the test drive and brought it over to inspection. We noticed that we had a popping noise, so we're gonna take this apart and test it out and see what's going on. So make sure you guys subscribe down below, ring that bell for post notifications, and also smash that like button. That really helps me grow and really helps the YouTube algorithm get my name out there. So thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Alright guys, today's the day that we are going to check out our mods. So we got two mods that we're going to be putting on the 2011 Ford Mustang GT CS DIY Salvage Guy Touch Edition. We're going to open those up. We're going to pull the car in. We're going to have to jack it up and see what we have to do. I'm gonna get the quick jacks out, gonna get it up on there. So I'm gonna set that up, pull the car in, and then we'll do some unboxing. So before we get to the mods, the first thing I want to do is get to whatever is the issue under the steering wheel. So there's a popping noise. I don't know if it'll make it now. I will, actually let's see if it makes it now while it's jacked up. Alright, so we still get the noise. Should make it a little easier to diagnose. So I'm gonna hop under there, see if I can find it. It's gonna be hard bringing the camera under there, but I'm gonna see if I can find it. And then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Alright, so I think it's coming from the strut on the passenger side. I get a bit of a noise when I use the stethoscope, but it could be resonating from the bar because that whole piece is connected. But I'm pretty sure it is on the passenger side strut tower. So I'm going to take the tire off and see if I can find and pinpoint any loose sources. Maybe it's a strut mount, something like that. Not certain. I need to do a little research to see if it's something that goes on these cars. But I don't think it has anything to do with the accident. It was hitting the back, hitting the rear, front. It looked like the person was just pushed into it. There was no front end damage or anything. So this must have been something that was already going on prior to it. So I'm going to make sure that everything's tight and good so I can still drive it. And then fix this at my leisure. I'm going to try to get as close as possible to the noise, and I'm going to turn the wheel so hopefully you guys can hear it. So I'm pretty sure it's this strut mount. Could be both. This bar connects both, so the stethoscope doesn't really give me the best idea without taking that off. But I'm pretty sure it's this one because it's louder on this side when I use the stethoscope. So what I have to do is look into how to replace it. It's either going to be just the strut mount. I found that online for like 60 bucks. I'm sure I can do it myself, not too hard. I have the spring compressor, do what I got to do with that. If I need to replace the entire strut itself, be a little more pricey, but we'll see. So we're gonna do a little research on that. All right guys, today we are going to get this strut mount off. So it looks like there's a couple bolts. We already got the top part off, the strut brace. So we are going to be working down below. As you can see, we have the tire off already. The strut mount, hey buddy, we think is the problem that's making the noise. My alignment is a little off as well. So, but we are hoping that it's just a strut mount. We ordered one up. We're not gonna have it till tomorrow, but what we can do is at least start this process now. So there's a couple bolts we have to remove just to make sure that this hangs off. And so we'll just get this all ready to go so that when we get the part, tomorrow we can just start up with this. So looks like we have to remove this piece. We have 2 bolts here, and that might be it. So we'll get started on that and start removing some stuff and keep you guys updated as we go. Do you want to let you guys hear the noise real quick? So hopefully you guys got to hear that. I think it's the strut mount, and so we're gonna start taking this apart. Alright guys, so there's like 4 or 5 bolts that we have to take out. So what I'm going to do is, taking out some of them, I'm going to spray them up with some rust penetrant. I doubt these things were ever taken off or anything, so here's one. Spray that one up. That way we're all sprayed up. And we're going to start with our 10mm. And our 17mm wrench. Hold that in the back. Let's see if we can get this on off. And there's one under that as well, but before we go and remove that, I'm going to jack up the wheel just so that it's not hanging down by anything. Looks like we're good with that now. 2 18s. That's pretty much done here, guys. This should... I just hang to the side. Supported by the jack. This thing is heavy. Remember that. So we just have our clip. Right back here. Just a standard push-in retainer clip. Now this whole thing is completely disconnected. This whole thing should be able to come out now. Now last thing we gotta do is take those 4 bolts off already. Took the strut mount brace off already, so we have 2 left. As soon as we take that out, it's going to fall down. So we're gonna do it. We have the control arm kind of jacked up under there, so we should be okay. And there we go. All right, we're just gonna test it real quick, make sure that that noise is what we thought it was. All right, so the noise is gone. That tells me that it's at least something on this side. We still think it's a strut mount. So we are going to kind of wrap this up for now. Then tomorrow when we get the part, we'll put this all back together. All right guys, we got our strut mount here. Installation instructions. Refer to instruction sheet located inside the strut box. Okay, so clearly that's not going to help us, but what we need to do here, the strut is a very simple design. You got basically a shock with a spring and a mounting location, and it's all held together by this bolt up here, which maintains the pressure of this spring. So now what I need to do, well, first off, if I was to remove this nut without locking the spring into place, I would have some serious issues. Now, removing springs like this are dangerous. It's very dangerous to do this, so make sure that you guys are safe with it. Make sure you guys are using the proper equipment. So, thing to note is how this sits. Spring always sits on the end, and it sits on the end here as well. So this should be pretty simple for us since we're not replacing the strut or anything. We're only replacing the mount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this into place. I'm going to keep it compressed with the spring compressor that I have. And then carefully I'm going to remove this nut, take off the mounting plate completely, and then we will put the new one back on. So before we do that, let's just compare these to make sure that these are the same. Looks to be the same, and I think the noise, what we had on the car itself was this bearing in here is probably bad. So what we're going to be using is this Maddox from Harbor Freight. Very cheap. There are more expensive options out there. I've used one of the more expensive options. It did not work. This did. But again, you guys have to be safe with it. So Harbor Freight, very cheap, very inexpensive, not cheap. They do sell pretty good quality stuff on certain items. Other things break pretty easily, but you get what you pay for. And as long as it comes with a lifetime warranty, what does it matter? Pretty basic design. You got a screw. I don't know how far we need to go on this, but we're going to start trying to loosen this now, and we'll go slow and we'll see what kind of pressure we have on the spring still. This is all compressed. It's compressed pretty well. So I'm hoping we have enough on here that will be good, but we're going to stand back a little bit and make sure that this doesn't fly off. All right, we're going to try the torque wrench. We'll see if we can overpower it and kind of just break it loose. If not, we'll look into ways to hold it. All right, so I just want to point out that I use the impact gun to kind of compress this strut a little bit more. So now this is extremely loose and wobbly. Hopefully the piece will just kind of pop it right off now, because there's just no pressure on it. So, but we will see. Alright guys, so I sprayed it up with some PB Blaster. What actually worked for me, I held it with a 10mm socket on the outside, and I got a 21mm wrench, and I kind of just put it in here. I held it and I turned. Obviously I used the ratchet when I did it, but it came off, bolted off now. Spring is compressed, so this should be a nice easy thing to replace now. So this should come right off. This as well. What this tells me is that this rubber piece is supposed to be attached to here. It's not, so that's probably what it was. So this is going to go back on like so. So important to note, I don't know if this is definitely the way that it goes, but this is how it is on the other side. We have this piece facing out, so I'm going to do the same thing. So we're going to face it out. So what that means is that this needs to actually be turned. It should be, but So, moment of truth, guys. Let's turn the key and see if we're still getting the noise. As you guys can see, wheel turns, there is no more discernible noise. So it was the strut mount. We are done with this car for now. We'll see how the tie rod does. Might be bad. Maybe we will see how the alignment goes and go from there. But for now, car is done. Let's get this tire back on, get the strut mount bar back on, and drop this down. That's gonna do it for today's episode, guys. Nice quick video, quick hitter, and we're able to fix the issue with the popping. It was a strut mount, and we're feeling good with this car now. So a couple more things we have to do on it. So make sure you guys subscribe down below, ring that bell for post notifications, follow me on all the socials at DIY Salvage Guy, and also make sure that you guys smash that like button. Check me out at the merch line down below, and also thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys' support. Hopefully you guys will be inspired by this and just pick up a wrench, buy a car, do whatever you need to do. Just try to become a DIY salvage guy yourself.